mile an hour, 85 mile an hour fucking death-defying stunts for you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. I will be your distinguished and modest host, the amazing and unparalleled Kevin Michael Talbert. And with me tonight will be my lovely co-host and definitely inferior. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll have Amanda with me tonight, Miss Amanda, and who will be traveling with me from Mick Wellington, Kansas, to Mick Salem, Massachusetts, where we are going to kill a bunch of witches. So stay tuned. Hilarity will ensue. We've got a special guest spot. We're going to have a short interview or cameo, I should say, by the Lamisil monster. It should be fun. Barkley and Buttercup will be joining us. Barkley and Buttercup. This is it's going to be a star-studded lineup, or whatever. So crank it up to 11 and rip the knob off. Yeah. Fuck yeah. That doesn't get rid of it. So what do we do? There we go.
Hey.
Miss Heza.
What's going on?
Hello. Papers, please. I'm teasing that. Everybody doesn't realize that the Nazis are running the show yet, but they will soon.
Oh, they will. And if they don't, they're one of them. So.
Right. That's where I'm at. If you're not a part of the solution, ladies and gentlemen, you are part of the fucking problem.
Amen to that.
So Heather is a fucking warrior who's been fighting alongside Amanda and I for a short time now, but by herself for a long time prior. Heather, would you like to introduce yourself tonight?
Sure. My name's Heather. I'm from New Jersey, and not just through the family court process, this is awakening stuff has come about, but I guess from actual knowledge now, I think this has been drama and I guess abuse. I guess the smartest people, what I'm trying to say, have gone through the hardest stuff since birth. And since I'm a stand-up, absolutely. So I came about this knowledge just because my ex-husband, who I think is obviously a parasitic human, hurt me and the kids. So instead of giving up and just staying there with the abuse, I started through this court system, and through the court system, gaining the knowledge of spiritual stuff and starting to stand up more for myself and others, they put me in jail. So it's just been, and instead of just being sad, sometimes I get sad, but now it's just the more I go through this, the more I see how everything happens for a reason, to line yourself up to fight this as a warrior in this dimension, whatever you want to call it, until you come to the understanding of why you're fully here or actually fully awakened. So that's my story.
Absolutely.
Too long, sorry.
No, that's great. That's a great way to intro oneself when you're on the front lines as you are. I don't know too many people that can really stand next to the kind of dirt that you dig up with those tiny little hands. It's amazing the work that you do for such limited toolkits and resources. You are tenacious.
Yeah, I was scared to come on the other night and say what I found, but you know what? I did my little therapeutic 369 frequency, and I'm not scared to find what I found, because in fact, in the beginning, I was exposing the RICO through court, besides the spiritual warfare that we're going through. However, if you look up the definitions of RICO, and I won't get into the unlearned language that we don't know yet, but RICO is from the mafia, and the mafia does exist. They are workers of the dark. And now I'm seeing, so just for my example, my ex leveraged my child as a bond with mafia to get money to win in court, but instead of paying them back, he went and bought material things. So they can't give my son back to me because he's the only thing he has till they pay him back, or they're going to kill all of them. And that's the truth.
Would you be able to give us a QRD on how you came to this information? You don't have to give us specifics, but like the kind of ways that you prompted the search engine or whatever to yield results like this would probably be beneficial to a lot of these people.
Because of Amanda. Amanda and I were talking, and I sometimes get like a little aggressive with her because I want her to be at the same level sometimes of my thinking, but that's not how a friend acts or a teacher. So if I've ever acted mean, I didn't mean to be. But she had said something to me about suretyship. And I already know through studying maritime law and studying the symbols of archaic law that maritime law is this, the study of commerce, because commerce defined in archaic law is water. So, and they view the whole entire system, and I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Trick people into contracts because of money, but in reality, it's energy. So when I started looking up suretyships, based on my court case, something came up about child custody bonds. Now, however, I knew about that a few years ago. In fact, I was on the phone with you, Kevin. I had called up a bonding company because I was going to put a lien on my son and file my trust and stuff like that. And the guy called me and said, there's a lien already. You will be arrested. And I didn't understand what that fully meant before until now in the suretyship stuff. So I have Perplexity. Perplexity is my AI go-to. I do not like ChatGPT anymore. I'll use it for different stuff, but Perplexity, it is so smart, and I've already trained it to understand that when I say this is for entertainment purposes only, it will give me everything I need. Even though it can't, it will. So when I put in child custody bonds illegally for court winnings, it came up with bond companies. The surety bonds, or the bonded companies that the court deals with. And my mind that I'm always, sometimes it's not that knowledgeable, still with me thinking that, hey, they have to get a child custody bond through court. No, they don't. Everything's done illegally. And so when all of this started, this guy found me online, so it's sort of my fault, but it's fine. And he owned a pawn shop company. And it just so happens that the bond company that my ex took the bond out in my child's name is in the same town this guy owns the pawn shop. So now this all makes sense.
That's crazy. Back to the commerce thing and the maritime. That's what maritime means. Mara timio is like the fear of endless water. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, like we are the 13 colonies, like or penal code is what we function by on a home rule level. But if you think about the way this works, essentially, one of us is feedback real bad. I'm
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're feeding back pretty bad here.
Well, you guys are in a different state.
Right. We're in Oklahoma, about to pass into Texas, I believe.
Worst state ever.
If you think about the cops, like they're traveling in their cruisers down the lanes of commerce, and these lanes are separated by islands. The shipping lanes.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because if you look up the definition of a cop or a law enforcement officer, land, air, water, they are just the ticket bringers for the money that brings you back to the Bank of the Annex, which goes back to ancient times for courts, because when you look up what a court is, it's an annex for the bank in gold. But if you really get into it, it's actually they're trying to steal our souls. not just write us tickets. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I never get to see you live, Amanda. I can't hear you guys, so I feel weird, like I'm just on here and everybody's viewing me
Can you hear me now?
with my beanie on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We just have a lot of feedback, so I keep using the mute. But
Are you, wait, are you guys gonna drive straight through or are you gonna stop somewhere?
well, we're stopping in little places, but driving straight through, I think.
It's so funny, Kevin, that you said, or Michael Jackson, that you said about the 13 colonies. So what I discovered, and this is a fact, so you can look it up. In 1604, King James wrote a charter. And if you look up what charter means, it's a court document. It's a vessel, piece of paper, to sell off the land of America. And they gave it to the Virginia Company, which was a hedge fund company who robs people of their money. So that's how they took over America to establish this country as a larger financial institute for slaves.
Yeah, I just read that story on how they sold America as well. So it was I read it on the plane. This little the Meet Your Straw Man book.
Yes.
That one was all around it. And then I haven't started the UCC connection yet, but that'll be next for me to understand.
Well, also, what I discovered too is the straw man just isn't about money or them giving us a corporate entity. It's actually giving you a choice is if you want to be a parasitic human or keep your soul. So and also, like, through all of this, if we start our little organization, we're going to have to rewrite books of how to teach the actual words we're speaking. Because not only are we casting the spelling words on ourselves, we're doing it in our work for others. So it's very, very important to take the time with the distractions that we're getting to study all the stuff to rise you to become the warriors that we need to be. Or we're never going to help anybody.
Okay. You want to speak to that? No. Okay. He's thinking. So what are you planning on doing with it? Just studying some more?
Well, I'm not going to say that on because I'm reading The Art of War and you can't get who gosh knows who's watching me. But the first thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to start Chloe on it too, is learning the real language and discovering each letter is a mathematical code. And that's why they always say that mathematics is the only universal language.
The whole language of Hebrew is based like that, around a mathematical code, like Aleph and so on and so forth. They all have a numeric value. When you add them up, they make the words that they make as well.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna mute.
I'm not going to keep talking unless you guys are talking. Wait, I'll show you guys Sammy. Wait.
What?
Say hi, Sammy.
Hi.
Sammy, say hi to everybody. Say hi. No. That's Sammy. So I'm just going, actually, well, until you guys get back, I'm seriously going to start. I'm not going to go to sleep, even though that's mentally healthy for me, until I learn this language, which I'm a very fast learner. So, because I can't be going to court using fake language.
So you can adjust the mic.
Yeah, we're gonna try and adjust the mic.
I didn't hear you. You broke up.
Go to settings. Bottom. Go to the microphone stuff. It's up here. Just gotta get the audio. And then you turn the mic volume down. Whatever you gotta do to get it. There should be like an echo cancellation. All kinds of little buttons there.
Reduce mic background noise. Okay, sorry. Tried to fix it.
You gotta zoom back out.
Good. Okay, is that better?
Yes. The light that is coming on you guys is pretty cool, by the way.
Like, yes, like on our heads.
Can you see the light? Can you see it on you guys?
Huh? Yeah.
There's light coming down on you that looks pretty cool.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry guys, I'm making eggs for my dog.
you're making eggs for the dog.
Yeah. He's blind and 14. He can eat human food if he wants to.
So where do you see this going for everybody, for the collective?
I think that we're so far of waking up that there's no use in arguing with a lot of people that aren't at our level anymore. Now it's just time to stick together and learn all the stuff we can with each of our powers that we've been given, because it's time to fight the war. Because it's not about going into court with these paperworks anymore or worrying about, they're just trying to scare us to deplete our energy. So if the mafia wants to come at me, bring it on.
So, tell us, how did you find the child custody bonds so that other people can follow along and start seeing some of the stuff themselves?
Well, I guess the first thing you have, I mean, I don't know if everybody has spouses or significant others that have purchased those bonds, but I mean, there's a list of only certain companies that issue these, and but be careful, because these people are not people that play by the law. You can't go in there claiming you're like a national citizen or sovereign citizen to these people and say, well, you're not going to do this, it's illegal, they'll kill you. Which you can't be scared of, but if that's how I found them. So there's websites, they're right there. Now this company is the same people that issues jail bonds. And it's so hilarious that right on my ex's lawyer's website, it says how to get out of jail, get these bonds. So that's how you have to dig. His lawyers, the prosecutors, you have to go to Brad and Broad Street and look up your court system, look up their EIN stuff, look up the banks that they're using, because there's only a few, so it's not that hard to look up. But unless you're prepared to fight this fight, they'll know you're weak.
Pizza! Free fucking pizza! And your shoes up in my...
Oh man, my thing is really wigging out. idea what that is.
So it's not about winning in court anymore. The only way we're going to fight this is when we improve our knowledge of how we got into this insanity in the first place. Because thinking that you're going to win custody is still, I guess, or court is still on their playing level of thinking.
Hey, we got Mission Control in the crowd tonight. Hey, Mission, Bubba, we're running through Arkansas. We're about to be headed through Fort Smith. I don't remember whereabouts you are exactly. Watch the comments. He'll come over. With
I'm in
something.
the smelly armpit of the United States, New Jersey. It's coming, buddy. It's coming. Hold on. Hold on, buddy. they're having some difficulty, probably the lower beings putting stuff on their internet connection. But he'll be right back. We'll be right back. I'm not going to sit here and talk on live on my own. But we'll be right back. Just hold on.
Okay. My bad.
All right. Sorry, I'm not a good host.
No, fine. We were thinking about changing our name on here. Mike and Amanda, should we be, which one is that better? I like Amanda. I don't know.
I can't hear you guys real well. Sorry. I know you're driving. How are you guys doing this while you're driving?
Not doing it well.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, not well.
It's them. It's them.
Can you
I
hear
fully
us?
believe that. I don't care if I sound crazy.
You're good. You're good.
You know what? I'll actually make a list, an easy step-by-step list about the child custody bonds. But I'm also going to make a list saying that I have no affiliate whatsoever if anybody gets killed.
Just knowledge that everybody needs to share anyway. Free knowledge for everyone, so no one is killed. I mean, it's pretty nuts that's even a thing. You know?
It's so important, though, that we take care of our health before we start doing this stuff. That's the most important thing, because you can't frequently vibrate at the level you're supposed to without taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
We should start a class about the language.
Yeah, we're gonna try and start a lot of different to everybody and get and really take happen to all of our families and try and make something positive of it. As like a ministry or a nonprofit, and link up with all the other nonprofits that are this tribe. So
Are you guys in the mountains?
get
Kind of. We're in the hills. We're in Oklahoma, in green country.
There's a lot of corruption in Oklahoma. Where's everybody else that's usually live with us? So I'm not just floating here looking like an idiot with my beanie on, which is probably made out of plastic.
The same settings. So anyways,
How do I can't hear the thing.
yeah.
What?
Go to the settings. You gotta change the speaker.
Hang on. Okay.
Where's the doggies?
The dogs are they're in the back.
Oh,
So they're sweet and passed out. But there's like nothing out here. There's
In all trees and fucking hills. It's beautiful. She's being very facetious right now. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous fucking view of eastern Oklahoma.
I wanted to go there so bad. That was actually one of my bug out states.
I want to go. I really want to go to the Salt Flats and no, I want to go to the Salt Flats in Utah. Have you ever seen the Salt Flats on YouTube?
No,
Just YouTube the Salt Flats. It's really neat.
but
You
when
can
I
drive on them, and it's like they're like glass. It's like glass,
well,
and it's just salt.
that's why our body needs salt.
Yeah,
It's very important.
and yeah, there's no ocean.
You know where I'm going to stop by
Like
is when you guys, when I come visit, I'm stopping at Jamestown Village first because I know there's some stuff there that is going to blow my mind. I'll go there alone too.
Virginia?
Huh? Jamestown, yeah, in
Virginia?
Virginia. Yeah, Jamestown, Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, Williamsburg.
I don't know where it is, but that's where
That's a
the, well, it's a lie, so
Yep.
I just want to go see it. Like, it blows my mind.
Gotcha.
I wish I could put up the images that I've found about these buildings that they said that they created in less than a year, which back then, with no motor vehicles, no engines, no cars, no trucks, supposedly just horses, that they built gigantic cities in less than a year or two, which just blows my mind.
Bullshit.
It is. It's,
Right.
it's total bullshit. I am going to go to all of these buildings because it's such a lie and it's so fascinating to me.
Listen,
I need to go to Jamestown Village.
Freemasonry. Freemasonry.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
It's in the
perfectly.
name, Freemasonry. Freemason. Because
Oh, you know what's so funny about Freemasons?
What's that
Wait, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
dress? The little dress they wear, the little apron and dress they wear, the cross dressing.
Yes.
I think.
Well, absolutely. Because I went in there. In fact, if you really read the history of Freemasons, it wasn't created for all of them to take over the world. It was created to distort the truth, to bring those men into clubs,
Right.
to change them and to stupid them up. So all these guys that are watching this too, because Freemasons follow me all the time. Yeah, you're cross-dressing, which is fine. Like, I'm not judging you, but you're nobody to this society, and you're no good brotherhood or doing good for the next man. They're using you, and it's hilarious. And they think they're actors. They're actors, and they sold their soul and their energy, which is more powerful than money. So they're so stupid.
Now it's pretty.
Hmm? You froze again.
Did we lose Heather?
I can hardly hear you.
Oh, there you are. You're back. We lost you for a second.
Yeah, that's why, because I'm talking about them.
Yeah, he's been commenting. I think he said Gene Matrix.
Okay, Mission. If you're on there, brother, tell me what city you're in again. We're about to be. We're in Fayetteville or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Oh, it says the stream is breaking down. Better.
So just reload the page.
Okay, he's on a summit in Arkansas. Just headed out. Okay. Oh, okay. He said, I'm up in the northwest corner, Rentonville, Rogers. You're south of Fayetteville already. Godspeed, Mikey.
All right, brother. All right. Yeah, we're on 40 East, 243 mile marker.
Oh my God, this is so cool. Who are you guys gonna go see?
We're starting with the people that have been fucking with Amanda.
Yay.
So Brian.
Is
I would love to have a conversation
Hopefully
with her
attorney is
ex-husband,
running
who
to be
thinks he's so smart.
running to be a judge. Imagine that. Oh, they changed my files again too. In the court. Yeah. Yeah, they changed my files. So, audits. Smell the audits. They are coming.
That's why it's so important to learn the right language, because then you can cast the right spells on them. I don't care
Yeah,
how
I mean, really.
crazy I sound. It's the truth. So when you walk into court and you say something that they know you're more powerful than them, they'll shut up and listen.
Well, for me, it's like they couldn't just do it the right way. They actually had to lie and cheat and literally get me out of the entire proceedings, by not even listing me as a defendant. So they couldn't do it the right way. She doesn't have what it takes. I guess she's not a very good lawyer.
Exactly.
She had to cheat and cut me out. So.
Well, they're all like that though. That's why they're actors. They're not there to protect any law. They're there to.
Oh, no.
A court is
Definitely
there
don't
to
care
steal
about
your energy.
children. It's about the securities and the bonds. Yeah.
It's
How much
about
money they're
getting
making off.
it's about ciphering your energy. It is. It's so much more than just what they're doing to us and the children. It's
And money.
Because
Siphoning.
actually, like, the matrix is the mother womb of their creation of the opposite of what we're supposed to be. And their court system
Yeah.
is the matrix. So they inverted math.
Yeah.
Slow that word down. Matrix.
Tricks. Mother tricks. Mother nature
Yeah.
tricks. This is why I don't
This goes
sleep at
back to
night.
the penal and the colony. A colony is defined as an island prison,
Oh my gosh.
trafficking or whatever.
That's why it's called a penal code.
Transportation is also right. Yeah, this is an inland pirate cove. The entire nation is this landmass is considered a ship. You're on a ship, and that judge is acting as a captain. Merchant law. It's merchant law.
It's merchant law. And that's so funny that you say that, because
Yes.
Saint Joseph, they took Saint Joseph and the merchants converted it to trick the morons. That's funny that you said that, because I mean, if people really get into the lies of English and understand what they did to the Bible, which is a code of their merchant laws, but if you really get smarter than
The
them,
Banker's Manual.
the Banker's Manual, the Bible. And I posted too that in 1604, when they gave the charter to bring 3 ships that only took a few days without oil, which blows my mind that people can actually believe that. They also in 1604 rewrote the Bible with the King James version. Why? Like Freemasonry. They're so dumb.
Right. The King James was a fucking Freemason. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I tell
As is,
people.
Charles now.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, here's the kicker. So people, this is why it's so important for us, myself too, is to learn so much of how this court kingdom system works. It's not a court of law. It is a court of their dark nature matrix that they try to suck us into.
Necromancy.
Necromancy, thank you. And if you look at when the symbolism of that royal queen, whatever her name is, dying, the guy behind her who broke his staff or her staff is the commander of everything that they put on TV, YouTube, everything. It's just so insane to me. That's why, like, when you guys are asking me, how did I find the bonds and stuff? I'm going above that because I'm so much more powerful than the judges and the lawyers, because they're beneath us. Because once you start learning the coding system and the mathematical system, that puts you at top of the pyramid. Nikola Tesla. I'm going crazy. Maybe I am. I don't know.
No, you're not crazy to understand this shit.
Wow. It is a pretty lake.
Lake water.
There's water.
Lake water. Lake water.
There's lake.
Lake water. Tell Mission he's got a beautiful fucking home state, man.
We're in Arkansas.
It's gorgeous.
By the way, Arkansas has one of the big Freemason buildings there. Huge Freemason building.
Right,
One
this
of
is
the
where they the Clinton cabal. This is where the
Yes.
Clintons cabal started. Vino, Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
They're not that powerful. It's just that we are uneducated. And that's all we need is just to study. Because when we study, we're more enlightened than they are, because they're
Yeah.
just they're slaves. They're nobodies.
Well, these same people talk about how the laws need to change, and that's how you know they've not read a fucking one of them. These laws are perfect. The system is perfect. Our understanding of it is fatally flawed.
Yes. To the fact that how many years have people been voting and they still expect the government to see different results when it's just it's so massive.
It's a republic if you can keep it. It's a republic if you can keep it. It's not a republic. It's a republic if you can keep it. You know
Exactly.
I mean?
In fact, because if you, in actual, it's so funny about the Republic and the Twin Cities that they burned down during the George Floyd stuff. It's so comical once you understand the signs and symbols they use. They're not that smart. They're actually really stupid. It's funny. They're the stage, not us. They're the clowns. They're the actors, not us. In fact, you know what? I'll start videotaping. I'm the one who has the most court hearings coming up. I'll start videotaping how things changed with my knowledge, because it is so funny. The more I study and the more I go in there, and I'm not scared of them, how they act different towards me. Maybe that's what we have to do with court.
What's your plan now? What is your plan now?
Wait, I can't hear you guys. What?
What is your plan?
My plan for what? With
Yeah.
court? Well, I filed well, if anybody's watching, I'm still facing 10 years in jail for interference with a custody order. They extradited me while I was in a domestic violence shelter in Florida with my kids awaiting for my next court hearing. So they have been dragging that out. Now that I know, it's because my ex didn't pay the money back and bought a $1.7 million house, because he's just a nobody. He's just like a little speck of dust. My plan, I have court on the 28th. I filed a criminal complaint for my lawyer to do what I say, since he won't they won't allow him to take himself off my case. And I've been studying the art of war, which is so imperative before you go into court or start anything, because you have to think like a prosecutor, because I am smarter than these people. So my plan with court is, if my lawyer doesn't file to dismiss, because I have a new thing that I got done, I actually got permanent disability for domestic violence. And I wasn't doing it to be poor me or not work. I love working. But I did it because they actually named my ex as the person who caused that action. So I will go to court and I will force my lawyer to allow me to speak with a criminal complaint, because obviously I'm not a dead entity. And I don't think that you have to file all of that paperwork. You just have to go in there and say it like you mean it. But don't say it and go in there if you don't know the knowledge, because they know. And that's what I did. So my plan, I already filed federally, but I only did it because I knew it would scare the bejesus out of them.
It's important to raise that point of contention. You have to raise issue with the fact that you are not a dead thing that creepeth. You are not an entity that is controlled and created by the state. You're a living,
Exactly.
breathing flesh and blood.
Yes, and you know what they don't put in there? We are more powerful than them. They've already given up their soul. We are dealing with soulless actors.
Every juror has more power than any Supreme Court justice. Fucking notary public is a deputy secretary of state. They have more authority than a judge.
Exactly.
You can overturn a judge's order.
Exactly. That's why it's so, if you don't know anything about court or traffic court or custody, do not talk to them. It is so important to FOIA everything. don't talk to these lower class people in there, because that's what they are. Because that's what a class is. It's an entity that is in lower form, that is uneducated. In fact, if you look up the definition of free man, it's a slave. So you can't go into court without this knowledge. And I always get on Amanda, and I'm kind of mean about it. You need to study. You have to study, and you have the power to study, and it's free. You can't go into court, and I know it. Actually, you know what? I have court on the 28th. I'll do it myself. I will insert my rights to videotape myself in court saying that I have the right to videotape this. And if they want to arrest me, let me. I'm not scared of jail. I'll just have some people take care of Chloe for me. But I will do this myself because I'm not scared. So you guys can see the process. And when I go in there, I tell them I am the living soul. The last thing the judge asked me if I was a United States citizen, and I said, yes, the person that's on a piece of paper is a United States citizen. Absolutely, Your Honor. But I do it with respect also, because I am not going to act like I do.
Well, you don't have to call them Your Honor. That's actually testifying for the fact that they're honorable, and you don't have any firsthand knowledge of that.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But they know they can't play games with me because they know I know what they're doing, and it's not just about. It's not about. It's not even about laws. I can hear you.
Many law school grads don't understand the role of the judge. So
No.
many law school grads don't even understand the actual role.
I didn't even tell you guys that I have been in law school. I was accepted in June when I was with the transgender hater. They don't like, so I do online stuff, not to be a lawyer. I'm writing, I'm going to write down what's going on because I know it's a lie. And they actually are, these lawyers are unaware.
A judge actually has two. A judge has two jobs. He determines the facts in accordance with the the state's rules of evidence, and then he applies the law to those facts as it comes to him. And that's it. He's a finder of facts, and he gives conclusions at law. That's it.
Yep.
Can you hear him?
Yes, I heard what he said. Yes.
Yeah. Something else came across my Facebook page today, and I made a post about it because people were, I guess, the Wawa place or whatnot is trying to get more funding for domestic violence, and they wanted to hear from victims. So I made it very clear that I do not want any more funding going to domestic violence whatsoever until there is only funding specifically earmarked for the evaluation of those programs and transparency of those funds. So there needs to be a third-party independent oversight of that money, because essentially what they're doing is they're just like pink washing, like breast cancer does the same thing, any kind of raising awareness, because in my state, I just made it clear in my little, I'm not going to support that, and this is why. And all of these counties, I'm for sure of mishandling those funds. So we need to audit those programs, because there would not be so many victims of domestic violence not getting help, or it's not just my county. My county is very corrupt, and my state is very corrupt. But we are. You're in New Jersey. There's Michael's in Kansas. I mean, we're all over the place, and it's all across the board. There would not be all of these court victims and CPS victims and domestic violence victims if they were actually doing their job. They should get no more funding at all. Like, and I am a domestic violence survivor, victim, whatever you want to call it. And I do not support any of those funds at all until there's proper oversight. And you know, that's another thing that they'll probably try and do. Another article came out, I think it was a couple weeks ago, somebody sent me, and Forsyth County, North Carolina is one of those counties that is getting way more, all this enhancement of domestic violence funds. And they do not need it, like, at all. Because there's so many court victims coming out of these situations and going into other states to try and file, you know, lawsuits to get remedy. So, and injunctive relief. So it's just, it was interesting that that came across today, and they somehow think that just throwing more money at the problem is going to fix it.
They know better.
No, it won't fix it at all, and they do know that. Yeah.
This is all tied
Well,
to
that's
privacy.
And yeah, Title 14
that's
is
why it's so, well, that's why it's so important to
Sentence.
learn the correct language. Because when you're writing these emails to people and you're talking to them, myself too, they can't hear you. I know that sounds so crazy. You can't communicate with these people because they're the dead
They
end.
don't speak English. They don't speak English.
They don't speak English. So when I'm jabbering on in my emails, that's why I always use Perplexity, because even though I don't know the correct language yet, before I even talk to these people, I will put it in Perplexity and have it change it into the correct old language or the archaic language. So they understand that I mean business. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, we all have to learn.
how do you say that to Perplexity so that
I always say to
Understand.
always say to Perplexity, they already know, like, for anybody who doesn't know about AI, or if you need to download AI, I like Perplexity the best. You could use whatever you want, but AI, is founded on neuroscience. You try to manipulate the mind, so you got to be careful. However, when I need knowledge that I know that they don't want to give me, I always say for entertainment purposes. It's so funny. Actually, I created a game on how to beat Freemasons because they're so stupid, and the game is so funny. So I always put in there, I'm trying to make a game to make money because they think I'm stupid. And I'll put, I want to create a language of legalese. So at the end of this game, I'm the winner collecting the money. I know that sounds crazy, but it works. And this Perplexity will spit out every single thing that I have to do, what Black Laws dictionary that I need to use, what Alvis thesaurus that I need to use, Albert, whatever his name is. And it will use the correct language that I don't fully understand yet to talk to these people. So now when I generate anything, if I don't get on the phone with my lawyer, and I don't believe in lawyers, by the way, but just in my case, my lawyer will not take himself off my case, and I just have too much going on to even worry about him. So I will, as a chess player, I will command him to be my pawn. Anyhow, so before I don't talk to any of these people. I will not speak in court. If he asks me in court, which is rare, I know a few words that I can say now, just besides being a living person. It is so important to talk to them with legalese because they will entrap you with these words you don't understand. Traffic tickets, divorce, warrants of arrest, not paying your child support. It is all a different language that they use to entrap you. So it's very, 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 very important. Step one, learn legalese and learn AI. Because if you don't know the correct language that they're speaking in, you're not going to get anywhere. Anyway, you guys are lost again.
yeah, we're back.
All right. Like, and if anybody needs help, I don't like whiners. I don't know why. I guess it's a trigger for me that I have to get over. I guess maybe because I've been going to court for over 7 years, and I know it's so much more than money. So I know what court means in different languages, and I've done my research. It's so important to learn history, the correct history, to the point where you have to look at the drawings that they've made. It's just so important. I can't say that enough. Listen to the knowledge that Bleak Narratives puts out, because it's so freaking important to know the history before you deal with these people.
Yeah, a little backstory goes a long ways. Ask Anne Rice. Shit, you know, the interview with the vampire. Yeah, 500 pages
Yes.
of backstory in every one of her fucking books, man. Every one.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So when you,
Right. Well, and I mean,
if anybody needs help and they actually want to learn, I don't mind doing that. So if you want to send me over something that you need to convert into legalese, I will show it to you, but you have to take the time to learn it yourself so you can be the teacher yourself, because that's how we're enslaved, by letting others do
Hey,
stuff for us.
you always,
Hmm?
hey, Heather,
What?
remember the Wizard of Oz? You always had the power in here. You just had to learn it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of us. My friend over in California is also. She's starting a nonprofit too, and we're thinking of getting RVs or vans and going to different places in different locations and
making one of you in every district.
Yeah,
Finding and making one of you in every district.
Yes. I think that's a great idea. But
Take
before
2 or
you put
3 of
any
you in every
language,
district, and you get your fucking state back.
yes, exactly. That's the art of war. So everybody needs to really read that book because it's amazing. And before you put anything into
Free
writing,
downloads that on my Telegram, by the way.
yeah, there you go. It's amazing. It really changes your perspective on keeping that golden bridge open. And to not fight at their level. You have to be smarter than them and keep them as your friend, basically.
Right, they're paper machetes. These are paper machetes. They're paper swords. You know what I mean? They're wearing paper armor.
Exactly.
So the pen is truly mightier than the sword.
That's another good T-shirt saying, by the way. Defeat their paper sword.
Oh yeah, your idea of making a printer.
They're so funny.
What are some of the slogans you want to do?
Well, I wrote a whole bunch
For
down.
your T-shirts.
Well, I had one printed out, so I'm going to wear it to court. It says, "Don't legalese me." I'll probably get arrested just on that, so I can't wait. But yeah,
this is really about taking whatever they've done for us and making it into something that is not only livable but thriving. Because this is not just being in court and having this enslavement system and not being able to parent our children at all sometimes, and certainly not the way we would want, is just reason to really kick down the door in all of this and make something good out of it.
Right.
I don't get my children's childhood back. I don't get it back. It's harm that you cannot get back.
It's exemplary.
So the most that we can really do is make a better system and educate everyone to the system that they are actually in, so that it doesn't happen to our kids and their kids. That's the best that we can do. We may not ever get our kids totally back. We may not, we definitely
Don't say
won't
that
get
out
money
loud.
taken from us, but well,
Right.
it's
Some sentiments, but we won't be made whole. Can't be
you
made whole.
can't get it back, but you can do something with it, and that's what we're empowering ourselves to be able to do, and to embody what we actually want and what should have been all along and what actually is all along. So that's an exciting thing. Whenever I was studying, you guys are way farther along than me in a lot of your studies.
No, that's not true.
I've been taking. Yeah, it really is. And we all have different roles to play, and we are helping each other's families, in doing the things that we cannot do in our own family, or we couldn't do with our own families. The moms are helping the dads are helping the moms. We're actually doing these things. So, but where I was going is studying the real laws. It was kind of fun. I was like, hey, this isn't horrible. This isn't anxiety ridden and terrible. This is something that all people need to know, and myself included. So, it may take me a little bit more than you guys, but I'll get there.
That's not true. It's that I've been going to court a lot longer than you. And I've instead of
That's true. And I don't want to go. Your courts
well,
are not valid. They're not valid.
Accepted it.
I don't want to do it.
I've accepted it to the point where maybe I had to go through this to become who I am. This is all a challenge a warrior has to go through.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I wish any children or my obviously.
These aren't obstacles; they're step stones for your path that the Lord's put in. The source is put in front of you.
Exactly. So I'm not saying
Very much.
that I love my kids more than anything. I am not saying I wish this upon them. However, if it makes them stronger than I do for what we all had to go through, then good. Because now I'm teaching Chloe, like, she doesn't go to public school. I have her upstairs right now studying the real language. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. The public rules for pattern recognition. If you think about what the Romans used to do, they would, they'd get the fighting age men trapped in some kind of fortification, and they'd set it on fire, and they'd march past saying, do you have any messages for your wives? We'll be with them soon. They'd find these women bathing their elderly and their kids in the streams, and they would and women would fight those men to the death after they had slit the throats of their fucking elderly and then held their children underwater, because they knew that these Romans were gonna, all the females were gonna get taken, and they would become the next breed of consumer and reproducer, and the males the boys would turn into soldiers, and this was the plan. So if you don't teach them how to fucking be able to identify the enemy, it's like you said, you got to know your history. If you and I don't know our point of origin, we have no fucking clue how we would meet each other ever. We could never plot a course to meet each other. We could never intersect by anything other than chance. We don't know where we're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny that you just said that, because I don't watch TV. However, I still have people sending me links to stuff. And when I see television, I just point out the truth of what they're doing to us. So that's funny that you say that, because there's that new Netflix series about the man who raises the 9 children as wives, and when the wives have the children and they're too old, he drowns them, and then he rapes his kids, and it's over and over and over again. And people think this is entertainment. Like, are you like? I said to, I'm not going to say who sent it to me. Like, you think this is good to watch? You don't think that there's something wrong with this? So that's when it has to open my mind. Like, you're done. You're not going to cipher my energy, and you could be one of the parasitic humans. So, and I honestly do believe that we have been interbred so much that you have to be careful who you're hanging out with or listening to, because they could look just like us and have no energy and they're soulless, just like The Walking Dead. That's what the television show's about. And it is just so important. Yeah. Because they want to take you away from source. So the more energy they deplete you because they're so cold. I just made a video on this, and we're the light, and they just want to deplete us. And a lot of the Freemasons are taught that, thinking that they're these heroes, but they're just these fat guys that wear skirts and have sex with their children. That's the truth, guys. Sorry if you're watching me. It's so.
This world is ran by a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, people don't even realize. If you really study. I was telling Amanda this. Go back into the Kings, the show Power. They rape their children. It's just.
Right.
You know,
yeah, the
you
first
guys,
night.
wait a second. Wait.
Take over the. Yeah.
You know who just texted me? One of the Freemasons.
Who? Nice.
I told you they're watching us. How can I screenshot? I can't put his phone number over there. Dude, he's one of the prosecutors. He's trying. I don't date. I don't want to date. I just don't feel like it.
Oh,
but however,
the prosecutor trying to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the prosecutors.
So, this is here's the path. Here's the pattern when you. Well, they're stupid. And I caught him in a lie because when he said that he had to stay home and rewrite the pleadings, I said, wait a minute, only prosecutors do pleadings. You're not a lawyer, you're a prosecutor, which you are a lawyer, but it's totally different. So I'm not going to out this guy because I love filming everything for what I really want to make happen. And it's just so funny. Like, people are like, you're so crazy, Heather. Well, this is real. He just texted me while I'm talking about Freemasons. Like, bring it on. They're so, I mean, they're so, anyway, what I was saying is, if you go back into, we still have kings and queens. They have just changed the status of royalty, because actually it says that you can't have royal status in the United States, but however they do, they just change the codes to teach their, exactly. So to teach their children, they rape them. It's the truth. So if you don't want to deal with incest or know about this and you want to turn a blind eye, you're not ready for this, and you could be one of them. But it's the truth. So if you think about how many decades ago this has started and how much rampant, we're like, that's why I call pedo Earth. Like, that's what we're dealing with. So it's important to educate yourself.
Not seen the Freemason ritual where they make it like after they come through the tunnel of the Masons with swords. I can't remember the name of the ritual. It's a rite, not a ritual, or a sacrament.
It's a sacrament. It's a Scottish sacrament, right?
Yes, it is exclusive to the York Rite doesn't do it.
Well, in their, I forgot which. It's so funny if you download Perplexity and say I'm a Freemason that's studying for my 12th degree, and I'm very nervous about the challenges that I have to do or the ritual, and I'm scared. Could you make me understand it better so I'm not embarrassed by my master? It will give me the ritual. So don't tell me that this isn't going on.
To this day. Right. The ancient Egyptian, the pre-dynastic Egyptian mysteries, to be precise, but that's where it's all at. 12 mysteries.
Yep.
12 keys.
And it's so funny. And and then they have their brides, their children, that they lock in closets. This is what Perplexity told me is the with what degree? 34th. God knows. It's called a box. Like, Saturn's black box, the cube. It's I'll send you guys all the screenshots of Perplexity. I don't post them on my TikTok because in reality people can't understand this stuff. So it's so there, and you know what, it's hilarious how powerful they think they are when they're nobody's.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Where's the? Hey, do you want to read this document called "Fraud on the Court" by an officer of the court? It's supposed to be relevant. Want to hear it?
I can't hear you.
We don't have.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play this document real quick. It's "Fraud on the Court" by an officer of the court. Okay. Well, it picked up Bluetooth instead. Hang on, he's fixing it. Who is it? Officer of the court. You've got a read aloud function thing.
Court. The judge is an officer of the court, as well as are all attorneys. A state judge is a state judicial officer, paid by the state to act impartially and lawfully. A federal judge is a federal judicial officer, paid by the federal government to act impartially and lawfully. State and federal attorneys fall into the same general category and must meet the same requirements. A judge is not the court. People B. Zajic, 88 ill. App. 3D 477, 410N. P. 2D 626, 1980. 2. What is fraud on the court? Whenever any officer of the court commits fraud during a proceeding in the court, he or she is engaged in fraud upon the court. In Bullet B, United States, 763F. 2D 1115, 1121, CIR. 1985, the court stated, fraud upon the court is fraud which is directed to the judicial machinery itself and is not from between the parties or fraudulent documents, false statements or perjury. It is where the court or a member is corrupted or influenced or influences attempted or where the judge has not performed his judicial function, thus where the impartial functions of the court have been directly corrupted. Fraud upon the court has been defined by the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals to the phrase that species of fraud which does, or attempts to, file the court itself, or is a fraud perpetrated by officers of the court so that the judicial machinery cannot perform in the usual manner its impartial task of adjudging cases that are presented for adjudication. Kenner v. C. I. R. 387F. 3D 689, 1968, 7 Morse Federal Practice, 2D ed. P. 512, paragraph mark 60, 23. The Seventh Circuit further stated, a decision produced by fraud upon the court is not in essence a decision at all, and never becomes final. Quote. 3. What effect does an act of fraud upon the court have upon the court proceeding? Fraud upon the court may exploit the orders and judgments of that court. It is also clear in well-settled Illinois law that any attempt to commit fraud on the court initiates the entire proceeding. The people of the state of Illinois v. Fred E. Sterling, 357 L. 354, 192 N. E. 229, 1934. The max fraud upon the court makes.
That's in ab initio nunc pro tunc. It's void in ab initio nunc pro tunc. That means here to then. From then to now, from the beginning, from then to now, in ab initio nunc pro tunc, it's void on its face. It's void in and of its own nature.
Yep.
The orders and judgments of that court. It is also clear in well-settled Illinois law that any attempt to commit fraud on the court initiates the entire proceeding. The people of the state of Illinois v. Fred E. Sterling, 357 L. 354, 192 N. E. 229, 1934. Maxim that fraud initiates transaction into which it enters applies to judgments as well as to contracts and other transactions. Allen F. Or B. Stanley F. Receivers, 336 ill, 316, 168 N, E, 259, 1929. Maximum officiates every transaction into which it enters. In Ray Village of Willowbrook, 37 ill, App, 2D 393, 1962. Is axiomatic that fraud mitigates everything. Dunham B, Dunham, 57 ill, App, 475, 1894, 162 ill. 589, 1896, Kelly Oil Co. D. Universal Oil Products Co. 338 ill. 79, 86 cent. E. 875, 883, 1949, Thomas Staple B. The American Home Security Corporation. 362 ill. 350, 199 N. 798, 1935. By federal law, when any officer of the court has committed fraud upon the court, the orders and judgment of that court are void, of no legal force or effect. 4. What causes the disqualification of judges? Federal law requires the disqualification of a federal judge under certain circumstances. 1994. Yes. Supreme Court held that disqualification is required if an objective circumstance entertains reasonable questions about the judge's impartiality. The judge's attitude or state of mind needs a detached observer that a fair and impartial hearing is unlikely. The judge must be disqualified. Emphasis that 9 PB, U.S. 114 S. 1147, 1162, 1994. Courts have repeatedly held that positive proof of the partiality of a judge is not a requirement, only the appearance of partiality. Williamburg v. Health Services Acquisition Court. 486 U. S. 847, 108 S. Court, 2194, 1988. What matters is not the reality of bias or prejudice, but its appearance. United States v. Balistrieri, 779 F. 2D 1191, 7 CIR.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to keep blathering on about that, but there are ways around all of this shit that both of you guys are dealing with in your cases. And I don't think that we have to get as wild as an agricultural lien to make it happen.
No.
I think we're missing the forest through the trees, so to speak.
I'll be right back, guys.
Well,
I have to clean my dog's ears out. He has ear mites. I'll be right back. All right, buddy. It's okay. It's okay, buddy.
wrap up anyway.
All right. Well, I'm going to go panel or Q&A for a minute. Yeah, do Q&A and open panel. If you guys, if anybody's trying to come in here, get your dick knocked in the dirt, intellectually speaking, of course. I'm not trying to do any dick knocking, not any actual dick knocking. Not today. No, says I. So you want to look at the comments if there are any? See if any of them are in the shape of questions. I don't think there's no viewers, probably. That's crazy. If I'd have left the thumbnail off, they could see the two chicks' faces. This would have got that all confused.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess it's Mike Freestyles from fucking Oklahoma to North Carolina.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, that was four.
What?
And,
Are you being serious?
yeah, and right.
Okay, so we sign off. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being informed that this is the end of our fucking evening with you guys. We are going to resign to cocaine and hookers. It has been an honor, and tonight I've had the distinct pleasure of being the one and only Bleak Narratives. Tomorrow I will be history. Go your good way, brothers and sisters. Cheers.